You are listening to Blue Please here on CynicalBrit.com with myself, Total Biscuit. Let me just repeat that for a second. CynicalBrit.com. This is not Happy Brit. This is not Chilled Brit. This is not Jubilant Brit. It is cynical. Learn to spell it. Learn to love it. Or loathe it. I really couldn't care less. But whatever the case, if you're expecting something other than this show, the door is to your left. And if the door is to your right, then I suggest you spin 180 degrees. Because I shall use my Chris Metzen-style indoctrination. Door is to your left. Unbelievable. Reality-bending powers. Get over it. Shock Jock Show. Labeled very clearly. Oh my god, I tuned in to listen to news. Then you're an idiot. I tuned in to listen to this and that. Then you're an idiot. You tuned in to listen to a shock jock ranty show about World of Warcraft, which is what it's been for the last 5 freaking years. I would like to change the show because I want it to be this way. Nobody cares. You are one of 80,000 listeners. Big deal. You know, I got told off by one of my viewers for bringing in reality into the equation last night. When someone said, oh, I don't like this kind of series, you should do this. And I told them, what the hell do you think I told them to do? I told them to get lost. Why would I not tell them to get lost? You are one of 146,000 subscribers. 1 in 146,000 is as much as your opinion matters. It is a literal drop in the ocean. Once you get that into your head, and once you stop believing that you are a unique and beautiful snowflake, the more bearable life will become. For God's sake, please make something out of yourself in real life. Have people respect you for a reason, instead of having people not so much respect you, but have you demand imaginary internet respect for doing nothing at all, just because you happen to have an opinion. Congratulations. Everybody has an opinion. Some indeed have more than one. Some hold conflicting opinions at the same time. We like to call them Republicans. Now, honestly, if people could just come back to reality for a second, stop trying to pretend that there's something special on the internet, and work towards something tangible, then we might have a few less wasters in the world. Good. You know, that applies to WoW as well. It really does, honestly. It does apply to WoW. These are the people who think they're unique and beautiful snowflakes and they are entitled to everything. We are special. We pay a subscription fee as if no one else does. It's like, I am part of the premium membership club. Yeah, like everybody else. Welcome to reality, folks. Even within your virtual reality, reality has to set in. And I wish it would. Because you know what? If we had that, we'd have a better game. If people were more realistic about the fact that, I can't do this content. So, let's say, let's have a think. So, let's say I am a amateur sportsman. And I am into the high jump. And I cannot jump over a certain height. I don't know what kind of height would be good. I know when I was a kid, I was able to jump over a meter bar. I don't know if that was any good. Probably not. Then again, I have very short legs and a long back, which kind of sucks. So, in real life, if I were a sportsman, what would I do in order to get over that bar? Well, if I were a normal person, if I were a mature and responsible person, bear in mind, I'm not mature or responsible, I just want to point this out. I am immature and utterly irresponsible in every possible respect. If I were a normal person, however, what would I do? Well, I would practice, and I would keep trying, and I would eventually, hopefully, get over the bar. And if I didn't get over the bar, you know what I'd do? I'd just keep at it, or I would just give up, and I'd accept, hey, I am not good enough to get over the bar. If a WoW player was doing the high jump, what they would have to do is they would demand, ladies and gentlemen, they would demand that the bar be lowered, and then they would demand the certificate for doing the higher jump. Or indeed, as someone very accurately pointed out in the IRC channel, they would use a pogo stick. You know, actually, pogo sticks are actually really hard. The proper pogo sticks, not those pogo ball things. Pogo balls are for casuals. Honestly, they are. They were brought in specifically because people couldn't do pogo sticks because a pogo stick is too hard. So I'm going to give you a pogo ball. It's got the word pogo in it, so it must be the same thing. You are entitled to use this pogo ball. that 30% buff that you got within the Ice Crown Citadel, that is the WoW equivalent of a pogo ball. Yeah? The real pogoers, the hardcore pogoers, they use the pogo stick, because the pogo stick's really hard. Everyone else uses the pogo ball. But the thing is, they demand to be on the same level as the pogo stickers. And they say, I am a great pogo sticker. But no, you're using a pogo ball. I am using a pogo stick. Allow me to use the internet reality distortion field. See, now it's a pogo stick. Blizzard says it's a pogo stick. I paid the same price for my pogo ball as your pogo stick. Therefore, I'm riding a pogo stick. That is the most, I might add, mentions of pogo stick you will ever get in a single WoW podcast. That is why you listen to this show, folks. Not for news, for mentions of pogo sticks. It's garbage. I'm sorry, it is. Entitlement, folks. Entitlement is disgusting. Terrible behaviour. Which leads me on to, I suppose we could do a topic on this, actually. Since we're halfway through this and I really don't have the time to actually start on the raiding stuff, allow me to talk about the concept of you can't do this because it'll make PuGs unpleasant. This is a phenomenon that keeps cropping up in my comments box. Whenever I make a comment in a video where I ask for something to be changed or made harder or whatever, whenever I give feedback, there's always one, and more accurately, sometimes more than one, there was always somebody who comes along and said, you can't do this because PuGs will suffer. PuGs are designed for suffering. In some language, no doubt, PuG stands for suffering. If it doesn't stand for suffering, it should, because that's what a PuG is. Didn't someone say that hell was other people? Something like that? Is that a quote? Hell is other people. Quote. Who said this? Jean-Paul Sartre. L'enfer c'est la tour. Usually translated as hell is other people. Why do you think pugging is ever going to be pleasant? Because here's the thing. Pugging takes the worst possible aspects of the internet. Anonymity and entitlement. Yeah? Anonymity and entitlement. Then you combine it with World of Warcraft, which makes everyone even worse. It does. It makes people horrible. Absolutely disgracefully horrible. Because, well, it's an MMO, and people in MMOs tend to act like absolute twats. Then, just to make matters even better, but this is the great bit, you add in a dash, indeed a heap, of misplaced elitism. Usually, it comes from, well, the WoW equivalent of a dick-waving contest, which would, of course, be Gear Score. Gear Score, a terrible system. I respect people's right to use it. I do not respect the system on its own because it sucks and there are better systems available. Use elitist group, for God's sake. Why do you not use it? Why are you people so very, very silly? Why are you silly? You get given, on a silver platter, a better system called elitist group. And do you use it? No! I want to use the inferior dumb system. Reminds me of the bloody VHS versus Betamax thing. Oh, man. The PuG is vile. You should hate the PuG. You should see it driven before you. You should purge the PuG. You would scourge the PuG. Yes, indeed. Kill the PuG. Scourge the heretic for the Emperor. That's what you should be doing. Because you take all these elements. You take anonymity. You take entitlement. You take World of Warcraft players, and then you add in a nice big heap of misplaced elitism. And what do you get? Well, you get the PuG. And the PuG is a disaster waiting to happen. Because what you're talking about is a group that inherently does not have cohesion. It doesn't know each other. It has no idea. It's probably never played with this person before. It is relying on the fact that everybody knows the tactics and is able to act as a cohesive group. Now, that's not really a problem in Wrath Heroics, because you can face roll all of it with 3 people if you so desire. So you really don't need 5 competent people to do Wrath Heroics, and that has been proven time and again. Need the introduction of the random group system. Prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that you do not need competent people to successfully beat a dungeon. All you need are 5 breathing, warm bodies. Or a cat. Or 2 cats, if you really want to get hardcore, folks. The PuG is an inherently flawed system. Because as well as cohesion, you have a group that does not have communication. Let's be honest, nobody uses WoW voice over IP. You want to know why? Because it's terrible. It hasn't been upgraded in ages. You know what? We've been sponsored by Ventrilo providers for years, right? You know, they're sponsored WoW Radio, they're sponsored Cynical Brit, UGT servers. They provide, as you might imagine, a good service. Our public vent is run by them, and it never crashes. It's really reliable, and it sounds great. And I was actually kind of worried. Honestly. I was kind of worried that bringing in the WoW voice over IP system would kill their business. And you know what? It's only made it better. You wanna know why it's only made it better? Because it's like having the ugliest kid in school follow you around to make you look more attractive by comparison. The WoW voice over IP system is just that. It makes Vent look like the amazing golden god of voice over IP communication. Because WoW's voice over IP is so awful that you could use anything and it would be better. Anything. What a disaster. An unbelievable, complete, and total mess. It's quite crazy, isn't it? I'm glad that it's there, don't get me wrong. It's nice to have an option, but when was the last time you ever saw a PuG go on it? It's so bad that I can't see why you'd even want to. I don't blame anyone for not using that thing. Oh. But people say all the time, it'll kill PuGs. Isn't that a good thing? Don't you want PuGs to die? I would. I want PuGs to die. PuGs are a disgraceful way of doing content. People say, oh, but you get to socialise. You don't socialise. When was the last PuG you actually went into? Is yelling at your teammates for failing miserably and then rage quitting out of a dungeon classed as socialising these days? When I were a lad, that was not the case, I can tell you that for a fact. That's not social, that's antisocial. PuGs are inherently antisocial. You have people that go into PuGs, rightly, I might add, with a mindset that everyone they meet in there is going to be absolutely worthless. Not only are they going to be worthless, but they're going to be obnoxious, and they're going to waste your time. So you go in there with an inherently hostile attitude, and it is almost impossible not to. I don't blame anyone for going in there with an inherently hostile attitude. I would. Because that comes from personal experience. That comes from that little formula that I said earlier. Anonymity. Plus entitlement. Plus World of Warcraft. Plus a healthy or indeed unhealthy dose of misplaced elitism equals the PuG. That's science, folks. You cannot argue with science. A PuG is inherently bad, and when it's not bad, it is the exception. It has to be bad. Every element of it, the very construction, the very fibre of the PuG's existence, is flawed to the core. So anything that makes PuGs more unpleasant is a good thing. You want to know why? Because sometimes you have to use the stick. They provided the carrot, leading people into the glorious light, into the renaissance, into the new age of guild play, the way that it was always meant to be. And here's the thing, people are stubborn. So you know what? Give them hell. Give them other people. Make them hate PuGing with every fibre of their being, and they will hopefully learn to do it the right way, which is get into a guild, enjoy the wonderful environments of guilds, enjoy the various benefits, both tangible and intangible, of a guild. That is real social activity, folks, within a video game. Clan play has always been the most social. Guild play is just a clan. Ergo, it is still the most social way to play. So, if a dungeon is too difficult, that it's going to make pugging hell, stop pugging. If this mechanic or that mechanic is going to make pugging unpleasant, stop pugging. Let it die, and indeed be the very reason why it dies. Stop pugging. My name is Total Biscuit, you're listening to Blue Please here on CynicalBrit.com. That's my master plan, folks. Here's master plans. It's Headbangers Ballroom. Enjoy.